In 1963, Alain Delon and Jane Fonda were photographed together on the French Riviera, two rising international stars sharing a moment of glamour during the height of European cinema's golden era. In 1967, a local musical group performed near a Dairy Queen in Hope, Arkansas. Small-town American entertainment captured in a snapshot that feels both ordinary and quietly nostalgic. In March 1966, George Harrison, Pattie Boyd, and Cilla Black attended the world premiere of Alfie, a glamorous gathering of British music and film talent at the height of the swinging 60s. Danish beauty queen and model lived an extraordinarily layered life. Crowned Miss Denmark, featured in a major American magazine, working closely with a famous publisher, and marrying a record-breaking musician before passing away at 79. In 1977, photographer Trix Rosen captured a striking image of singer Debbie Harry, one frame from a career that would help define the look and sound of an entire emerging music genre. In 1955, Anita Ekberg was fitted for a costume ahead of a New York charity ball, the same year she first appeared in a major magazine, 5 years before the film role that would make her internationally famous. In 1960s Mexico, a grandmother was photographed in a quiet domestic moment, an image capturing the warmth and dignity of family life across generations during that era. In preparation for a major 1980s fantasy film, two actors trained extensively in traditional sword fighting, physical preparation that would help define one of the decade's most iconic action roles. In the early 1960s, Sophia Loren relaxed by a fishing dock in Italy, one of cinema's most celebrated actresses enjoying a quiet, personal moment away from film sets and cameras. In 1928, two young girls were photographed together, both smiling, an ordinary portrait of childhood friendship preserved from the late 1920s. In 1978, a future rock guitarist was photographed as a junior high school student in California, years before he would become known worldwide through one of the most successful rock bands of his generation. In February 1941, actor James Stewart and actress Ginger Rogers were photographed, together in Los Angeles, two of Hollywood's most accomplished performers at the height of their respective careers. In 1965, a model and actress was photographed in a vintage morning setting, an image capturing the particular elegance and informality of mid-1960s fashion photography. In 1954, a group of Irish travelers was photographed, preserving a glimpse into a distinct cultural community with its own traditions, language, and way of life. In 1963, a woman in Germany was photographed fainting after seeing President Kennedy in person, capturing the intense public reaction his presence often generated during international visits. A 17-year-old Netsilik Inuit woman was photographed during Roald Amundson's famous expedition through the Northwest Passage in the early 1900s, her community providing crucial knowledge and friendship to the Norwegian explorers. In September 1918, two women working as ice deliverers carried a large block of ice together, physically demanding labor that many women took on while men served overseas during the war. In 1902, a woman posed for a photograph holding a cigar, a striking and somewhat unconventional image for the era, challenging expectations about how women were typically portrayed. In 1942, an interracial couple posed together for a photograph in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a quiet image of a relationship that existed despite the social pressures and legal barriers of the time. In the fall of 1954, Sophia Loren completed a costume test for a historical adventure film, preparation for a role that would showcase both her range and her growing international appeal. In 1931, a notorious organized crime figure was photographed for a mugshot, his distinctive appearance the result of a violent attack 2 years earlier that he had barely survived before Modern refrigeration became widespread. Certain regions relied on natural, ice and cold storage methods, a reminder of how recently household freezers became a basic and expected appliance. Between 1900 and 1930, a traveling seed seller documented daily life across thousands of photographs in a remote alpine valley, images rediscovered decades after his death, preserving a world that has since vanished. In 1982, an actor was photographed on a film set with his wife and young son, a personal family moment captured during production of one of the era's most anticipated movie sequels. In 1971, an actress starred in a coming-of-age film that became one of the most acclaimed releases of its year, launching a career that would span decades in film and television. In 1951, Marilyn Monroe posed beside a 1950 Pontiac Chieftain, early promotional photography from a period when her career was just beginning to gain momentum. In 1868, a photograph documented housing conditions in a working-class district of Glasgow, Scotland, images that would later be used to advocate for significant urban housing reforms. In the early 1980s, an actress appeared in a low-budget science fiction film, one credit among many, during a notable and often discussed early career in entertainment. A photograph from the 1990s captured two prominent political commentators whose paths and public profiles would each, in very different ways, become significant parts of American political discourse in the years that followed. In 1949, photographer Jerome Liebling captured an image titled Butterfly Boy in New York, a striking portrait that became one of his most recognized works of documentary photography. In 1912, young girls in South Carolina worked early morning shifts, shucking oysters at a canning company. Children whose labor was a routine part of the seafood industry's workforce during that era. In the 1890s, a Swedish family was photographed together. Parents and their young son captured in a formal portrait typical of the period's documentation of family lineage. In April 1937, an elderly man was photographed on the street in Shawneetown, Illinois, an ordinary moment from a small river town during the difficult years of the Great Depression. In 1991, two entertainers from very different generations were photographed together at an award ceremony, a brief crossover moment between a veteran performer and a young star. In 1955, Chinese leader Mao Zedong met with Tibetan religious leaders in Beijing, a diplomatic encounter during a period of significant political negotiation between Beijing and Tibet. In February 1939, visitors explored the Golden Gate International Exposition in San Francisco, an early Kodachrome photograph capturing the vibrant colors of a World's Fair celebrating engineering and culture. In October 1975, the Japanese imperial couple joined American leaders at the White House for a historic state dinner, the first such visit by a sitting Japanese emperor to the United States. In the 1940s, a young child reacted with pure delight to a treat of cotton candy, an image capturing the simple, uncomplicated joy that childhood could bring during even difficult decades. In February 1979, uncollected waste piled up in London's Soho district during a sanitation workers' strike. Labor disputes during this period significantly disrupted daily city services across Britain. In 1986, the protective structure built to contain the damaged Chernobyl reactor was transported to its location, a massive engineering effort to seal off one of the most serious nuclear accidents in history. In 1909, Russian artist Zinaida Serebryakova completed a painting reflecting the distinctive style and themes that would define much of her celebrated body of work. In 1995, two entertainment figures were photographed together at the Grammy Awards, a moment from one of music's most prominent annual events. In 1974, photographer Vladimir Sychev captured a portrait in Suzdal, USSR, documenting an individual whose life had intersected with the Soviet justice system, part of a broader project on Soviet society. In 1918, military pigeons served alongside American troops in France, each bird carrying official identification tags, with their service and fate formally documented just like any other member of the unit. In 1976, a champion bodybuilder prepared for the Mr. Olympia competition, one of only 2 competitors ever to defeat a legendary rival on stage. His physique often cited as among the most symmetrically ideal in the sport's history. On June 12, 1944, Winston Churchill arrived in Normandy aboard the destroyer HMS Kelvin, 6 days after the invasion, the Prime Minister visiting the front to see the campaign's progress firsthand. In 1990, an international team completed a historic crossing of Antarctica, explorers from multiple nations working together on one of the most ambitious polar expeditions ever attempted. Between 1910 and 1977, photographers experimented with forced perspective and optical illusions, playful images that used scale, distance, and clever framing to trick the eye in entertaining ways. In 1958, a woman posed on a pier during a vacation in Bermuda, a Kodachrome slide capturing the relaxed elegance of mid-century tropical travel. In 1951, Marilyn Monroe posed beside a 1950 Pontiac Chieftain, early promotional photography from a period when her career was just beginning to gain momentum. In 1952, Marilyn Monroe posed for photographer Nicholas Murray for portraits later used in magazine features, Kodachrome images capturing her in the early stages of becoming a major star. In 1953, Kodachrome slides captured Marilyn Monroe resting at a cabin in Canada while filming River of No Return, quiet behind-the-scenes moments from one of her notable film productions. In December 1954, 2 women chatted at a resort in Florida, an ordinary Kodachrome slide capturing casual social life during a winter getaway. In 1953, Marilyn Monroe posed for photographer Misha Pelz in an outdoor lawn session. Kodachrome images created for promotion of her film. Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and related magazine features. In 1953, women on their lunch break skipped playfully through the streets of London, a spontaneous moment of joy breaking up the routine of an ordinary workday. In March 1952, Marilyn Monroe completed a costume test for her film Monkey Business with Cary Grant, the same outfit she would later wear in the film's memorable pool scene. In 1954, Grace Kelly filmed The Country Girl, the role that would earn her an Academy Award. The production crew created a personalized sign for her bicycle, reflecting her pride and her heritage. In 1950, photographer Harry Callahan captured a striking image in Chicago, part of a body of work that would establish him as one of America's most influential photographers. In 1983, 17-year-old Bryn Owen was photographed with his elaborately customized Vespa scooter in Leicestershire, England, featuring 34 mirrors and 81 lights, all purchased gradually with his own pocket money, a 1929 photograph. Captured department store, wax mannequins melting during an extreme heat wave, an unusual and memorable image of how unprepared retail displays were for unexpected weather extremes. In July 1953, a newly engaged John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Bouvier were photographed together on Cape Cod, a couple at the very beginning of a relationship that would soon capture national attention. In 1900, a woman posed on the back of an ostrich at a California farm, an unusual and playful photograph from an era when ostrich farms were a genuine novelty attraction. In 1957, Sophia Loren relaxed between filming scenes for Legend of the Lost alongside John Wayne in Libya, an international production, bringing together 2 very different styles of Hollywood. Stardom, a former Soviet intelligence operative carried out assassinations of exiled political opponents before defecting to West Berlin in 1961, his case becoming one of the Cold War's most discussed espionage stories. In the 1920s, a vaudeville performance group toured under a memorably playful stage name, entertainers bringing comedy and music to audiences during the height of variety theater's popularity. On June 12, 2019, a significant protest event in Hong Kong was later viewed by many as a defining turning point in the city's modern political history. In 1898, a photograph captured pedestrians strolling along Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, ordinary New Yorkers going about their day in a city on the edge of enormous 20th century transformation. In 1985, Michael Jordan was photographed during a visit to Paris, early in a career that would soon make him one of the most recognized athletes in the entire world. In 1930, two aviator brothers performed mid-air mechanical checks during a record-setting 23-day flight without landing, fuel and supplies delivered, periodically by another aircraft flying alongside them. In 1880, a traveling laborer used a hollowed-out gum tree as a temporary campsite, a glimpse into the itinerant lifestyle of workers who moved from farm to farm, carrying everything they owned. In 1956, photographer Robert Frank captured a man leaning against a car on Hollywood Boulevard. One image from a body of work that would soon redefine American documentary photography. A simple, nostalgic memory connects an everyday childhood experience to the particular textures and smells that linger in memory long after the moment itself has passed. In 1944, a U.S. Army paratrooper posed in full uniform holding a bottle of champagne in Normandy, a striking contrast between celebration and the serious military campaign happening around him. Around 9:40, actress Carol Landis was photographed on Kodachrome film, color photography capturing one of the era's popular leading ladies during the early years of her career. In the late 1940s, a woman posed beside a Ford automobile, an ordinary portrait combining personal style with one of the decade's most popular vehicles. Marilyn Monroe remains one of the most photographed and recognized figures in entertainment history, her image, continuing to resonate with audiences many decades after her career began. In 1947, actress Ava Gardner rested with director John Brahm during a break from filming Singapore, a quiet behind-the-scenes moment from one of her early film productions. In August 1949, a woman posed in a blue sky-colored dress, a Kodachrome image capturing the bright, optimistic color palettes that defined late 1940s fashion photography. In the 1940s, young women relaxed poolside at an early Kodachrome image capturing the casual leisure and emerging color photography of the post-war period, and our ordinary day unfolded at a roadside Texaco gas station, a quiet scene capturing the unremarkable rhythms of mid-century American travel and daily commerce. In 1943, Betty Grable was photographed as the wartime blonde, one of the most popular pin-up images among American servicemen during the Second World War.